Hi, my name is Tyler Shelton, and this is my timeline. The event I chose for post-Civil War was the rise of the robber barons. Before the Civil War, Congress passed legislation allowing businesses to form corporations without a charter from the U.S. government. This allowed the rise of big businesses mainly after the Civil War, which caused many monopolies. They were called robber barons simply because they were dominant in their fields, um, and they were very greedy. The event I chose for pre-World War II was the Great Depression. There's some speculation about exactly what caused the Great Depression, but it is blamed on the stock market crash. And because of this, many businesses failed. Um, People were living in shacks. It's kind of like a do-over for a lot of the mistakes that were made before. Because after this, we did rise from it, and businesses began to, well, boom, as the next event suggests. Um, After World War II, the auto industry decided that they were going to advertise using World War II propaganda. They support the war and the efforts. This advertisement led to many people wanting cars, or, you know, even though they already wanted the cars, but it definitely helps. And they also advertised that the technologies that were used in World War II were being put into their automobiles um, to help improve them over time. And this leads us to the 21st century, where I chose two events that are a little, I don't want to say smaller, but just more niche markets. The war on Afghanistan was mainly affected the oil business. Of course, opportunity was lost. Um, with all the money that we did spend there, that was a big opportunity cost. We could have been using that money elsewhere and growing business in other ways. Throughout the war, technology continued to move forward, as it does in the 21st century, very rapidly. And of course, this is going to affect businesses. It's going to affect what certain businesses develop, what they put out. Um, but mainly, oil was affected. And then Facebook, which came out in 2004, I believe, it was like a modification of MySpace. MySpace was good at what it did, but Facebook obviously has put that not out of business, but very it has taken over the market. And Facebook for businesses, it helped greatly with advertising. It did. It can hinder businesses because of the publicity. It allows news to cover and get their media out to millions of people in a matter of hours. And this can either help businesses if they play their cards right, or this has hurt businesses for making their scandals known. Um, Even big companies like Apple have been under the radar on Facebook for um, being blamed for child labor in other countries. Um, this also allows for a lot more competition. It's very fast paced. Like I keep going back to Samsung and Apple. It's just a good example because everyone has a smartphone in their pocket, and if they don't, I'm sure they will soon. But they are able to compete rapidly. Samsung puts ads all the time out against Apple, saying their phones are better for this reason or that reason, and via Facebook, people can do all kinds of things, hashtag all these things that will bring it to light. And so Facebook has been a big event, I would say, for businesses in general. And now for the question, has the purpose of business changed? I believe the purpose of business is to make money, make profits, while also developing and making new products. Of course, there's plenty of other reasons people are going to say they're in business, and there are plenty of other reasons people are in business, but without the profit there, the business will not go on, and of course, everyone is in business to make a dollar. So I would say that has not changed. I feel as if a lot of people are going to say yes, it has, but I think the main purpose of business has not changed. But the way we go about it, or the way the businesses are ran, is completely different. When you go back to robber barons, everything was sneaky, everything was about domination. Of course, there was child labor back then, things like that. It was a lot more about greed. It was about more making money and that bottom line. Doesn't matter how we got to get there. The Great Depression was, like I said before, was like a reset point. We were able to restart all the wrong that we had done, and coming out of it, there was, of course, still many things that we need to improve on, but we did improve, I guess I could say. And the post-war boom, advertising became a big deal. Instead of just dominating a field, there was a lot more competition. With cars, there was Chrysler, there was Ford, so they had to compete with each other. It wasn't just Ford dominating the market anymore. And then with the war in Afghanistan, I like to look at this as the 21st century shed light on what businesses are, and they made them more transparent. It's a lot harder to hide things now, and I feel like the war in Afghanistan, when that all began, and a lot of secrets were coming out and about oil companies and everything like this, and what the real purposes of war was, and all these things. People were more interested in what was really going on, and then when Facebook came around, that interest just peaked. With a few seconds, you could go out and go on Facebook feed, and you could see the latest news. Whether it be true or not, it was still out there, and it was still affecting businesses. And so I do not think the overall purpose has changed, but the way we go about it has.